Hey, it's summer break time, right? Yes, even the superintendent says that. But while students may be home enjoying summer break, the work of Guilford County Schools never really does stop. So here to answer your questions is Dr. Whitney Oakley, superintendent of Guilford County Schools. If you have something that you'd like her to answer, all you have to do is text it in right now. The number is at the bottom of your screen. You see it there at the bottom, 336-379-5775. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
All right, let's start with Colfax Elementary. The High Point City Council approved that zoning just last night, so we all saw that. So what happens next? And then when do we expect to see things actually happen with the school?
Sure. So an elementary school, a K-8 school in that area between Colfax and Southwest has always been a part of the facilities plan. And so last night with the High Point City Council approval, what will happen next is that it will then go to our school board for approval to purchase the land, and then to the county commissioners to approve the price of the purchase of the land. Once all of that happens and we own the land, then you can begin the schematic design, that 2.5-year process that it takes to actually build a school. So we're very excited about the progress. That is a neighborhood K-8 STEM school. So that'll be really important to have as these businesses start to move and we see the growth that we're seeing in the northwest part of the county.
Okay, but we want to make it really clear that's 2.5 years out till we're seeing
after we have the final land negotiation and purchase. But we have the green light to do that part next, and we're really excited about that.
And High Point, do they have to annex some of the land and that kind of thing?
That land was already annexed last night. The annexation and the zoning was approved, which gets us to the point of the land purchase, which is the next step for our Board of Education and then to the county commissioners.
All right, and I'm glad we went through all of that so everybody knows what all the steps that we're taking. All right, let's get now to the other construction that is going on. We've been doing one story after another about all of the construction with the bond. We just stopped by the new build site at the Claxton Elementary this week. So let's talk about how that progress is going.
Sure. I mean, of course, it's site specific, right? So different land grading, different types of steel packages that have to come in. So they're all kind of at different points. But you are starting to see dirt move and steel come up off the ground. And at that school in particular, you can kind of stand in a classroom and imagine what it's going to be like when there's kids in the building. And so the progress there is extremely exciting. And I think we remain so grateful to the voters for showing up and making this large investment in infrastructure, really the largest in the state of North Carolina and one of the largest in the country.
I was about to say, yeah, it is one of the largest in the country.
It is.
So think about that, is kind of mind-boggling.
It is, and we've got, you know, these kind of 9 projects underway, 6 that are in the construction phase. And so for a community that hasn't seen new schools in quite some time, it's something we should all be proud of, and it's why businesses will continue to move here.
All right, and this is a question that's kind of along those same lines with the construction. They're talking about, so they're not rebuilding Hampton, Peeler, or Irwin elementary schools. Can you tell me why they're not rebuilding those?
Sure, so a couple different answers. If you'll remember, those are the 3 schools that were impacted by the tornado several years ago. And right now, Irwin is actually located on site at Alamance. Irwin is still a Montessori school. It's just located right now at Alamance Elementary. In the facility plan, Irwin Montessori remains a magnet, but moves to where the current Archer Elementary site is, near Four Seasons Mall. When we think about Hampton and Peeler, the Board of Education did vote to close Hampton Elementary, and a new visual and performing arts school will be built on the Peeler site. So Peeler had students that were attending Blueford Elementary up until this year, and now they're all at middle school. And so there's actually a public hearing tomorrow night to consider the closure of Peeler as we get ready to open this new visual and performing arts magnet school, which is state of the art. The community will be very proud and should have a lot to look forward to.
Okay, so that all of the students from that one school are out, so it's not like you're having to find displaced students again.
That's right, and the Irwin schools are intact at Irwin until they shift to Archer, which will happen as we progress down the plan.
Okay, let's talk about this. Guilford County Commissioners passing the new budget, which includes an extra $15 million in pay for classified workers. So let's kind of talk about that, because everybody always wants to talk about money and salaries and how important it is to the budget, but also the constraints of the budget as well.
Yeah, it's a really hard time, and we do need our state and our General Assembly to think about how we're not only funding teachers, which is critically important, but also how we're funding our frontline workers, our school bus drivers, our office staff, the people, our child nutrition staff, our custodial facilities maintenance, the people that keep us operating. So we're very grateful to our county commissioners. We've worked very closely and will continue to do that for making this investment that will begin to address how far away those workers are from market value. We do still have some challenges though. We have increases in utilities, increases in liability insurance, increases in the money that has to pass through the charter schools. So we're still working together to navigate what we'll have to come up with in order to meet those demands as well. But no one deserves, a salary increase more than the people that serve our kids each and every day. And so we're deeply committed to continuing that investment.
And these are like the blocks, right? You have to continue to move the blocks as you're doing your budget.
That's it. And there's required legislative impacts. And there's always the fact that we're still waiting for the state to pass the budget. So we have to pass a budget regardless of whether the state has or not. So we'll pass an interim budget to keep us going, but there are many, many, many moving parts, and we still are just underfunded. Public education in general is underfunded.
All right, let's talk about hiring and retention, especially when it comes to teachers. What do teacher openings look like now? And I know we've got a couple months until the school year starts, but really I'm sure that you're looking at all of those things and trying to place all of those different open positions.
Yeah, the numbers change every day. It's full-on hiring season though, right? Students who have just left college and are looking at Greensboro and High Point and the surrounding areas is a great place to work and learn. We hire all year round. So this is no different. We just kind of ramp up those hiring events in the summer. People can go to our website, click on careers, and see the openings that we have. I can tell you though that once we hire teachers, they tend to stay here. So 81% of our teachers have more than 3 years of experience, which is a lot to say for a new teacher who can come in, have a mentor, be taken care of, be respected, and know that we're advocating for them each and every day.
And is it something where the focus is on getting new teachers coming or keeping the teachers that are there, like when it comes to budget?
Both and.
Okay.
I think we have to think about that, in terms of the teacher supplement right now, it's kind of the same across the board, but we want our veteran teachers to stay as well. We're also, like the rest of the country, facing this kind of shortage where there's not this long line out the door of teachers to come in and fill positions, especially hard to fill ones like math, special education, science, and STEM fields. And so really, we can't just have one strategy. We have to have recruitment and retention all at the same time.
Okay. All right, what we're going to do is we're going to take a quick break. My phone has been buzzing with all of your text questions that you have been texting in. And so if you want to get your text question in, it's right there at the number 336-379-5775. We'll be right back.